Sue from Dawson will be muting your videos and your microphones to avoid distractions from the presenters. Are you ready to start with the recording, Sue?
Yes. Can you hear me?
So, yes, I can. Right, so good afternoon. My name is Rebecca Mitchell, and I am an English teacher and Ped counselor at Vanier College. And on behalf of the Pedagogical Support and Innovation Team at Vanier, aka SCI, I want to thank you for joining us for this webinar on Saltese's CourseFlow system for instructional design. So today's webinar is really an excellent example of collaboration that the Vanier SCI team is thrilled to share with you. We included the CourseFlow system in our Teaching and Learning in Uncertain Times toolkit because we really see it as a valuable tool that you may choose to use to help prepare for the summer and fall sessions and beyond. So without further ado, I will now hand the reins over to the Saltese team and collaborators to share their experiences in planning for uncertainty using CourseFlow. So I hand it over to you, Saltese crew.
Hi everyone, it's Liz Charles here, and knowing that we've got sort of multiple screen, multiple computers, and we're hoping that it all goes well. Welcome and thank you for inviting us, Vanier, and thank you very much, Rebecca, for being an incredible host to us, an organizer. We've got a lot of people on our list, so starting off with Jeremy Choquette. Jeremy is the CourseFlow developer and a Saltese member. Phoebe Jackson, physics at John Abbott College. Reese Adams, also physics from Vanier College. Selma Hamdani from psychology at Dawson College. And there's Sue, who you've heard Rebecca refer to. Sue is one of our Saltese loyal staff members. And I'm Liz Charles, the co-director of Saltese. So without further ado, we're going to let them take it away, the presenters. But before that, if everyone can just check in the chat, there is a file that I uploaded. I hope you can get access to it. If you can't, let me know if it's disappeared and I'll re-upload. But basically, we've got a bit of a protocol that you can use for communicating with us. So can anyone tell me if they've seen the file? No, okay, so I will re-upload the file and in a few minutes. And basically, it just gives you a sense of what exactly are we, if you want to talk, for instance, if you want to put your hands up to indicate you want to ask a question, we have a protocol so that it makes it easy because we don't always see whose hand has gone up first. So basically, we're asking you to put your name in the chat if you want to speak, and a few other little bits of information that will help move this along. So thank you very much, and I'm passing it over to my colleague, and I will be, this is the overview of the webinar. So the introductions, the CourseFlow, the online courses, and so on and so forth. This is what you're going to be seeing, but basically we're taking the PowerPoint off your screen so that you can see each other better. So we'll be chatting later. So let's go ahead and start. Whoever wants to jump in. So Phoebe, you want to go first? Why CourseFlow? What problems were you trying to solve?
Sure. Well, for me, everyone can hear me? For me, CourseFlow was a really good chance for me to stay flexible with my planning, because when we went online, we didn't know how many weeks we were going to have. We didn't know exactly what content we were going to end up teaching. And it kept changing every few days, our decisions. So CourseFlow, as you'll see when we show you how to use it later, allowed me to keep making changes to my unit plan without disrupting and making me have to redo it time and time again, which was what was happening with my old kind of PDF style grid that I was using. And another thing I found it really useful for when we moved online was my lesson planning, because it was hard to be realistic about how much time everything was going to take when I went online. And CourseFlow allows you to estimate how much time each component of your lesson is going to take, and then kind of see if that adds up to what you think it will. And I almost never did, so I had to keep making changes. And thirdly, the thing I really like CourseFlow for, and continue to use it for, is just sharing with my colleagues, because my classes are very complex. They have a lot of different activities and pieces. And CourseFlow is the easiest way I've found that I can actually show somebody what I do in my classroom. It also works for students, but lately I've been using it to share with my colleagues to get ideas back and forth. So that's what it's been really good for me for.
I can jump in next. In addition to everything that Phoebe said, in my context, when the crisis began, we were encouraged to teach in an asynchronous fashion, and I hurried up and got a lot of materials ready for my students, and with all the materials and assessments and deadlines, and quickly my students were complaining that they were overwhelmed, just too much material, and they kind of got lost with what to do in what order, and how to manage all these documents and deadlines. And CourseFlow is a very user-friendly, visual way of showing them the order of the tasks to be done. And you'll see when Jeremy describes the platform to you, it's easy to insert links to materials. So if you have PDFs, you have a link to a My Daily assignment or a WebWorks assignment or another platform or whatever, the students can just go from task to task to task and have everything they need in front of them. So it's a very easy way to manage all that. And that to me was the biggest plus in an asynchronous online world.
I guess I can go next. I'm Selma, and I teach in the psychology department, and I used CourseFlow before this emergency learning situation that we're in, I found myself having a plan of a lesson in my head and then not really getting through that plan, or diverting from that plan once I get to the class, or not really get into what I was expecting to get to. There's a lot of improvisation or improv in my classes, and that sometimes can divert from what I wanted to do, and that, I guess that's okay. But with the CourseFlow, it helped me hone in my objectives for classes, for the course as a whole, and pretty much like Chris, I showed it to my students, and it really helped us see the trajectory of each class, or even of an activity. So that was really useful. And when this health crisis emerged and everything was chaotic, it really helped me just to have a clear, somewhat clear way of where to go. How do I want the rest of the semester to go? And the same for the students. They really appreciated that the being able to visually see what we're about to do for the rest of the semester. So it was a tool for me as much as for the students. And that's it.
So I guess we can now, so we've given you a setup to say, like what problems people had. And I'm sure there's similar problems that you've had in adapting to this online, crisis of COVID. We now will go to Jeremy. So he'll explain more or less, like how to use the tool, and where are the key features about the tool that you need to know?
Sure. So hi everyone, I'm Jeremy. I'm a physics teacher at Dawson, as well as the developer for Saltese, the CourseFlow developer for Saltese. And I am just going to link in the chat the URL where you can access CourseFlow, so you can follow along if you'd like, provided you have a computer. We do not currently support iPads, tablets, other touch screens. But if you've got a pretty standard computer setup, you should be fine. So yeah, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what is CourseFlow and just the very, very basic workings before Reese, Phoebe, and Selma show what they've actually done with it. CourseFlow is broken up into projects, so you can create, here we're just going to create a new project. Our project, we might want to plan out something like a physics course, which I say because most of us on the team are physicists, or physics teachers. And in the project, we can have multiple different kinds of units. We have our activities, our courses, our programs, something I'm not going to touch on at all, and our outcomes, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But to start, I'm just going to look at courses and activities. So we can create our course, and so maybe this will be a specific physics course that I teach, and I can enter into this, and now I've got this kind of workflow sort of format. And so everything is broken down into what we call nodes and weeks. So here, our course is made up of a bunch of different weeks. We can create a bunch of those so that we can map out our full course, 15 weeks or whatever. And then we can, the idea behind CourseFlow is how do we make this as simple as possible to map out? So we can grab these nodes from the side and drag them in and create them automatically. And now we have a preparation node. So this is something that my students are going to do in order to prepare before, say, a lesson. And I can click on this to edit it. I can give it a title. I can give it a little description. I can say about what amount of time I think it's going to take. And I can then grab, preparation. So maybe this is a reading assignment. Under lessons, this would be what I do in class. And then I can grab an assessment. At some point, I'm going to do a quiz and assess them, or a homework assignment, or something along those lines. And I can use this to basically map out my entire week. If I have resources that I want to share with them, as was mentioned, I can create a hyperlink to whatever resources, online resources I'm using, like Moodle resources, My Daylight resources, Google.com, whatever. And they'll be able to, and then we can keep track of all our links and say Google Docs documents. If we have a fairly nice repeating structure, we can also just duplicate these weeks and map them out this way. We can also create little links to show relationships between different tasks. So that's the basic course level. At the activity level, we have a very similar format. So at the activity level, we want to know where are things happening out of class, in class, are the instructors doing it, are the students doing it? And again, we can just drag and drop our nodes. I think something I neglected to mention is that once we have these set, it's very simple to make changes. So if I'm creating some activity that I'm going to do in class, and so I have some prep beforehand, then the students have some sort of preparation. I give maybe like a mini lecture, and then I have the students say work in groups. I can, if I decide I don't like the ordering of this, I can just drag and move stuff around, adjust my lesson plan on the fly, or afterwards if I realize it, something hasn't worked the way I intended, I can move stuff around. We also have a whole bunch of icons to denote the context and tasks so that you can see it much more easily. So we can choose a context for this and a task here for this group work. Maybe my students are doing some problem solving and they're doing it as in groups, and I can therefore add icons to every node within my workflow so that when I look at it later, or when a colleague looks at it later, they'll be able to very quickly see, oh yeah, this is what Jeremy was trying to do with this class, right? We can see exactly, or we can see the basic overview without having to delve into the full detailed description that might be down within each node. So last but not least, once I'm done, I want to save the file, and I want to really, really stress this because I'm the developer and this is very much a work in progress. So sometimes there are little bugs. So actually before I'm done, basically whenever I've got something that I'm pretty happy with, I want to save, make sure that there are no crashes, no issues. And I can do that with File, Save Project, or just Control S. And it will create a output file that is going to drop just right into my downloads here. So it'll drop a file into my downloads. I can then take that, store it wherever I'd like, and open it back up again later to continue working on it. So that's my basic overview of CourseFlow. People can jump in if they feel like I missed anything key that we're not otherwise going to cover. But if not, then I think I'm going to be turning it over to one of the teachers, to Phoebe.
Before we do that, does anybody have any questions? As I mentioned, if you have questions, either raise your hand or better yet, put your name into the chat window so that we know if there was an order in which the questions were coming in. Okay, so this is like a regular class. People are shy to raise their hands. So we'll let Phoebe.
There are a couple questions
there. We actually do have questions coming
great.
in.
Fantastic. Okay.
So the first is, can this link to content posted in Leia? I have not tried it specifically with Leia content. I don't know if anyone else has. It can, anyone can feel free to jump in there. Okay.
I haven't tried.
It basically, it can be posted, oh boy, sorry, I'm getting distracted by all the other questions. It can link to any content that has a unique URL. So I don't know whether or not that's the case with Leia, but it is the case with Moodle, which means that you can create a link for something like Moodle, and they will be able to go directly to that content. They'll be prompted to log in. That might also be the case for Leia, but you'd have to try it out. There's a question, the save option is not active. Okay, I don't know how to help with that. That's a technical issue. We can deal with that later. Should we be running it locally like me or from the web server? Good question, run it from the web server. I'm running it locally. For me, good eye on noticing that. I'm running it locally because it's simpler for me. It's in my documents. But you can run it from the web server. Can it be integrated in Moodle? So we actually have come up with kind of a somewhat hokey way to integrate it with Moodle, in the sense that Moodle has so it's not like a plugin or an easy to use plugin like most Moodle content, but we can actually, I'll share my screen again. If you export as embeddable HTML here, you will, and I can select to make it read-only and to hide comments, and you will get a copy-paste text that you can paste anywhere that you can paste or host HTML content. And using that, we can, because Moodle allows arbitrary HTML to be put into labels, you can stick it into a Moodle label and your students will be able to see your CourseFlow content. And that's actually a very nice way to share. You do not, yes, you do need software to, sorry, next question is, do we need software to open the save file? You do not need software. You need to open it from CourseFlow. So at that link that I sent you, wfm.saltese.ca, I'll send that again. So from there, you can go file, open, and you can open up that file, but you can't open it directly by, say, double clicking on it. Liz, feel free to cut me off if there's a lot of these questions, so if we're going over time, let me know.
Okay.
But
so maybe one more question, and then we'll move on to Phoebe.
Okay, so actually the last question is, does it integrate well into Teams? And I don't know exactly what that means, so maybe whoever asked it can expand on that.
That's Microsoft Teams.
Yes, but I don't know what it means to integrate into Teams.
I think the question may be, if I create, let's say for you, Jeremy, you create your NYB team in Microsoft Teams, would there be a way to show off the CourseFlow into here? And I'll play around in Teams and see if I could maybe copy paste the text file, and hopefully I can get a solution or get an answer for you ASAP.
Okay. Okay, so I think that's everything. I'll hand it back over to Phoebe.
Okay, hi everyone. I will share my screen. I'm just going to show you what a completed course in CourseFlow might look like. So okay. Get that out of the way. So this is my course, but I'll just quickly show you how easy it is to open a course up. So you go to File, Open Project, and then you just find your CFlow file, the one you want to open. You click on it, and voila, it's open. So if I go in, this is my overview page. You can see I haven't used the program level. I have one course that I'm going to show you, and then I have a bunch of activities that I've created, all of which I've put into this specific course. So I teach physics at John Abbott, and this is my electricity and magnetism course that I taught last semester. And I made the CFlow when it was time to go online. So I have things in weeks 1 through 7. They're all filled out in retrospect, but I'll show you other weeks, starting from when we went online, which is week 8 for me. So you can see, like Jeremy was showing you, I've got different blocks with preparation. That's for the students. It says activities. I can change, activities is actually now lessons. So my labs and lessons are in the green column. My assessments are in the red column. And then things I call artifacts are in this brownie orange column. And by artifacts, I mean, they tend to be, for me, I interpret it as documents that the students create in class or in lab and then use later to help them continue their learning. So something that they can have with them at home. So this is, for example, this is my week 9, and I have my students, they do some pre-reading. And if you click on it, you can go to information. For example, this will open up the reading and perusal via Moodle. So somebody was asking about Moodle. And they can go directly to the reading this way. I won't show you all the links, I have a lot. Then they have some, after they finish the reading, they do some pre-reading. So if you click here, it opens their assignment in My Daylight. They can answer the questions directly from there, and I can also see them. Then they come to class after that, and they have a 2-stage review quiz. So if I click into here, what we go into is the activity level. So we were at the course level. Now we can see activities within the class. So here's my little activity flow for how I run a 2-stage quiz. I have these at the beginning of almost every class. And you can see, you can estimate the time and kind of give an idea of what the students do and what the teachers does. And in each part, I can write notes about what should be happening in that stage. So there's lots of information inside each thing here. So I'm going to go back to the course level. Go down to week 9. You can see my class. I have the rest of my classes here. It too has an activity flow. So you can see exactly what happens in the classroom. Same with the labs. Here's a document that the students take with them. So I tend to share my documents through OneDrive. I just link to a OneDrive document, and it's very easy to share any kind of document that way. Anybody can open that up because I've made the link shareable for anyone with the link. And then one thing I'm going to show you guys here, Jeremy mentioned it, is the outcomes. So I have put into my CourseFlow, and these can be shared with anybody who wants them. So every member of my department can have them now that I've put them in. All the learning objectives from the competency for my course. So then all I have to do is I can take any activity, for example, this one doesn't have one, and I can link the appropriate outcomes to it. So it's about capacitors, so I might say applications of the laws of electricity and magnetism, and there it is. And I can add another one if I want. Application of series and parallel circuits. So then every time you hover over this little number here, you can see exactly which learning objectives are being addressed in that activity, whether it's an assessment, a lab, a class, a pre-reading, it doesn't matter. And there's this really great feature, toggle outcome view here. It actually goes and gives you a view of all of your outcomes. And it gives little tick marks for each activity that it's met in. So the outcomes are on the left side, and then all the, here I've got just the assessments in class selected here at the top. But I can add other things too. And then you can look right down, if you look in the last total column, you can see whether or not all your objectives for the course are addressed in your course, whether they're addressed in your assessments. Maybe your assessments are missing an objective, maybe a lesson is missing an objective, and it's a really nice way to just do a check of if you're actually meeting your objectives. And then you can just toggle back and you can keep going. So I think I'm just going to unshare my screen for now. Are we taking questions now, or do we move on to Reese?
Let's take a couple of questions and then move on.
Trying to see where the questions start. Heather has a question.
I like that, what you just showed, that chart with all the learning outcomes. Would it be possible, because some competencies are not completed in one course, can you use multiple courses and show where those competencies are getting acquired? Somehow link it like several courses in a program?
I'll take this. Yes, you sure can. So we're not going to focus at all on the program level today, but yes, the answer is you can actually use this to map out an entire program and show where the program touches each competency, and subdivide, where it does specific elements of competency as well.
Thank you. Awesome.
It looks like we're okay to move on to Reese.
Yes, let's keep going.
All right.
Oh, before Reese does that, I just wanted to point out to everyone, what you're looking at with CourseFlow, you can tell it's like having a dynamic course outline. So what Phoebe showed us was the ability to map out her day-to-day classes, as well as if she had a lab included in the class, or if she had to adjust for online teaching. She was doing a synchronous course. So when she met her students in a lesson, it was actually the same as a regular time frame, except she was doing it now on Zoom. So she prepared her students ahead of time with all of those links. Then she met them in Zoom with the 80-minute lesson. And then she had them do work outside of class. So this is what we're trying to show with Phoebe's. It's that you can map out a synchronous course, a synchronous way of assigning your course. And Reese is going to show you an asynchronous way of assigning your course.
All right. So again, just to remind you all that when we started teaching again in March, I was in the middle of a thin lens section, and then I quickly prepared a whole lot of documents and shared them with my students. And I had a project that was already established. I got rid of my final exam and decided to have group problem sets, and I had 4 topics left to cover. And when the students started complaining about too much content, too many deadlines, and what do I do next, I kind of brainstormed how I saw my class for the following 4 or 5 weeks. And it looks kind of messy, but that's the way I think. And so I had all these links for my topics, and then I had, these nodes or these columns for my topics, and they would all link to a module. They would all link to some webworks or my daylight, so essentially assessments and a quiz, and the different components of the project had to be submitted at different moments in the semester. So this is the way that I thought of it, but I don't think that is helpful for a student. And with a bit of help from Jeremy, we cleaned it all up to this, which I find is very presentable to a student. So when we all get back together, the students know that we are completing thin lens, and your next task is going to be interference and diffraction. And you should be spending about a week on this content. So if we start midweek, it'll go into the following week. But before you complete all of interference and diffraction, you should be completing your webworks and the My Daily assignments that are linked to the thin lens. And then there will be a quiz at the start of the week. So this was an asynchronous quiz that they had to complete. And they had a part of the project. And as we get into the second week after the crisis, you should be finishing up interference and diffraction. There are some pre-class activities. There's another activity. And then you should be moving on to quantum physics and the photoelectric effect. And if I click on each one, there's a link here, right? So they're currently in my Google Drive, but I can go in, and the student can go in and then access the PDF that I prepared. And this PDF makes reference to some videos, some textbook, some animations, and whatnot. So the students have this as part of what they can follow to learn with. And again, I'm meeting my students. Our class times were for Q&A. So I'm hoping my students are reading the content and trying some problems, and then bringing their questions to the FaceTime that we have. And then the links to my daylight, the links to the webworks is the same link they had before, the link to my daylight as well. Nothing here for the project. The new link for the My Daylight pre-class activity. And if they have a specific activity that's related to the content, again, they can go in and download what they need. So they have worksheets and whatever. So everything that a student needs to complete the course is actually here. So every node has the correct link to the PDF or whatever activities and content and whatnot. So then students can follow and pretty much know, all right, if I am ahead of myself and I completed all of my interference and diffraction quickly, I have time, I can jump in right away into quantum. If I'm done that early, I can jump into special relativity. So at this point here, the students were saying some students were a bit behind, some students were working rather quickly and knew that in 3 weeks they'd be very busy. So everyone got to work pretty much at their own pace, but the assessments had hard deadlines, but everyone was given ample time to complete them. So someone can just follow right through and know exactly what to do and what to submit. Most of the class content ended around week 12, week 13, and then they had all of their group assignments and their projects to complete and then to meet with me to go over. But everything that was remaining is mapped out right here. So in if I were to do another asynchronous course in the fall, I would follow pretty much a same pattern here, such that a student who walks right in could complete the course at their own pace. I think the rest repeats what Phoebe said or overlap with what Selma has to show. So it may be a good moment to stop showing right now and take a couple of questions if some have questions. Should I answer the new questions that have appeared? Someone asked, is Salties free of charge? Yes, Salties is free of charge. There's a salties.ca website with examples of activities being developed by our colleagues from all colleges and universities in English and in French for natural science, social science, humanities. There are many activities there. And in addition to developing CourseFlow, Salties has also developed the My Daylight platform, all of which is free. I'm reminded why I failed my last physics course. All right, Michael, if you want to do some physics this summer, I'm available. Jeremy, there's a question about Windows can't open this type of file from Chris.
Yeah, so I'm currently trying to cover those in chat. So a lot of people are confused by the saving and opening. So currently everything is saved on your hard drive, or in your documents. So if you save a file, it's going to depend on your browser's default behavior, but usually it's going to save it into your downloads folder or something similar to that automatically. Then the file lives on your hard drive, and you can then put it into your documents or wherever you want to store it. And in order to open a file, you can't double click the file. Your computer won't recognize the type. It's a custom extension, and you don't have anything actually installed on your computer that would tell it how to open that. So you need to go to the website and then go File, Open, and then select your file. Navigate to your file and select it, and you'll be able to open it in the software. I know it's a little bit clunky, but it's something that we are still currently working on, is finding a viable alternative to that.
Otherwise, I'll stop there and let Selma take over.
Thank you. Okay, so as my colleagues have demonstrated, Phoebe used this CourseFlow to map out a synchronous class and used it for an asynchronous class. My classes were what's called blended. They are a mix of both synchronous and asynchronous. And so I met with the students on certain days and not on others. So I had prepared material for other days. So since we met twice a week, it was easy to have that like dual modality every week. And I'm going to share with you my workflow. Okay. So one of the things that the students saw as a challenge during this pandemic time was the excessive different platforms that were thrown at them. So Moodle, Leia, Teams, and et cetera, and more and more. And I'm guilty of that as well, because I introduced some new variables in there. But to spare them having to use the CFlow and having to navigate it or figure it out, I just shared the PDF with them. So I didn't, mine wasn't maybe as extensive as my colleagues, but as you can see, I've created just like something very simple where the first column here is asynchronous. So we've talked about the vocabulary here. So they know that asynchronous means out of class, synchronous means in class, and then assessments that are out of class, and artifacts are some of the projects or labs in this case that they worked on, and that could toggle between synchronous and asynchronous. So for example, started working on a lab. This was done on a platform called Span. Oh, I just added a week. Oops. Anyway. So we started working on it actually synchronously, and then they continued to work on it outside of class, and then eventually they just sorry, I don't know what's happening here. It wasn't working. So eventually we came back and in class looked at that same assignment. So this is why they have the artifact column, and then they know that that node is linked to something that we are going to do in class. So we did a virtual gallery walk of that lab in class, and then there was peer evaluation. But it's very I think simple but straightforward to let them know what needs to be done, what's the topic that, or what are the readings that need to be done asynchronously, what needs to be done synchronously, what are the assessments out of class, so like the quiz that they have to do outside of class, and then the artifacts, those were a little bit of both. And I think pretty much everything else was already said. So I can take questions if anybody wants. Can I stop the sharing so I can see the chat? Is there a way to view the weekly schedule with hourly breakdown? Almost as a calendar view, with synchronous lectures appearing clearly in a given time slot. Is that something that can be done?
So I'll cover that. The answer is no, not currently. Interestingly, in very early iterations, that was something that we considered, but there wasn't a whole lot of interest in that. But if enough people speak out and say they're interested in a particular thing, then that is what we do. So we're always looking for feedback about what would be most useful for people.
Maybe one way to do it is to have each column be a specific day. So I don't know if, here, I'll share my screen again.
Yeah, one of the things that as Selma is opening up her screen, one of the things that you should notice is the ease with which you can change the top of the column. So Selma put synchronous and asynchronous as column headers, whereas CB had activity and pre and preparation. So all you need to do, can you just show them, Selma, how easy it is? You double click on it.
Yeah. Or in this case, I right clicked and then I can edit label, and then I can go say Monday. Or double click.
So basically, if you can think of this as this interactive course outline, but it's also just a matter of an interactive set of columns. So if you have something that you think happens in a certain way, you can use this tool almost in any kind of customized way. What we're showing you is what is the most effective way that we've seen. So these 3 examples are very effective ways of communicating what happens during the course of a week and over the course of the semester. If you have to work in an in an online environment, you can map out the way you need to put your course together. But you can also customize it to be very specific to how you see your course.
Is there a maximum size of files? Yes,
Jeremy answered that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to answer all the very technical questions as they come up.
Thank you.
So I think we've got a perfect time segue to try out CourseFlow. What we've done is, so the let's practice is in bold or in caps. So that's a nice shout out to say, let's practice, start your engines. So we'll put you into Breakout Room. And if anybody here, knowing that everybody who's participating today, you are all teachers, or most of you are teachers. So if you have suggestions about how you want to do the breakout room, please tell us. We're going to just do it randomly because we don't know who likes to be with whom. But if you really vehemently want to be with a different group and you want to organize it, please shout out. And don't be afraid. You don't have to use the chat if you just want to speak. Just unmute yourself and yell your preference. So anybody, last chance, automatic breakout rooms, or do you want to be with people? Oh, someone says we should be with our departments as a suggestion. If you agree, then Sue, maybe we can open up the breakout rooms and have people select, seeing that we don't know, or maybe Rebecca, you might want to help us here.
Yeah, perhaps Rebecca can make you the host, so you assign people where you know they belong, because I don't really know their departments.
I don't either. I think we would have to have people self-select. We have quite a large group here.
And people self-select on Zoom?
Selma says no.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I can
so
select them manually, but not.
Because we're not going to have time to manually drop 53 participants into their preferred group, I think.
Let's mix it up.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Selma, Sue is going to randomly assign us, and so we'll see each other in a breakout room.
Would you like to tell people what they're going to be doing first? Yes.
Thanks. You can tell that this is we don't have the full expertise over how to do these webinars. We're just learning along with everybody else. So what we're going to do is in the if you found the file that I sent you with the protocol, in there it gives you a sense of how we're doing things. But I'm also going to share the screen here with you, and in here we now are at the breakout room. So sorry. In the breakout rooms, you'll have one of these, you have all of these templates at your disposal. You can try them out and see each template is one of the types of online courses. So synchronous, asynchronous, or mixed. Try them out and take whatever you want to try out in your group. I would suggest you try one at a time. If you have questions, or if there's anything that comes out of the conversation that you have in the breakout room, what we're suggesting is that you either take a screenshot of the whiteboard if you create a whiteboard, and those who don't know how to create a whiteboard, all you need to do is share your screen, and the icon will pop up on top saying annotate. Anyone who knows more instructions about how to do those things in Zoom, feel free to just jump right in. Basically, that file I sent you, protocols for the webinar, has all the instructions that I think you would need for your breakout room. And if you don't, just jump in with questions, please.
Are we ready? Okay, here we go.
Sue?
Yes.
I don't know if there are some breakout rooms that there might need more people.
They're supposed to have 5 people each.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are a few people who didn't go into breakout rooms. I see Reese, but maybe Reese is like me.
Yeah, he
double?
has 2. Yeah.
Okay. And Isabel? And
I have to admit someone else, and that
Okay.
person's gonna be lost, but I'm gonna assign her.
okay, thanks. You can also assign me to a group that seems to have less of us, because I ended up being with Selma.
Okay, so
So-
I'm gonna assign you to number 1. There's no one from our team there.
Okay, perfect.
Where are you? Here. You have to accept, Liz.
Oh,
I don't know
Sorry.
if I used the right laptop because
no, you had the other one, the other
Oh.
Liz. I can go, if that's the only one you can assign, I'll go back and do it, but I'm on this one.
Now we're supposed to see the invitation. No.
Not yet.
I can move you, but I can't make you enter the room. So I don't know what to do because you're already moved. Both accounts, both your profiles are moved to Breakout 1.
Oh.
Breakout Room.
Okay. Don't understand why.
I gave them 30 minutes. Of course, they're allowed to come back to the main
Yeah.
session whenever they want.
Yeah. But you're the host, so you can pop into. How about you go into
Yeah.
Into one, and I'll stay around here and keep an eye on who's coming back.
Hello, excuse me.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry. This is third time when my Zoom on my computer was crashed, and I'm trying to enter into the meeting room via disturbing you.
Oh, yeah.
This is due to the
sorry.
application crashing on my site at my laptop.
Okay. So Sue.
Yeah, I can try to assign you again.
Yeah, actually, I see. I'm able. Yeah. So try reassigning, and I'm going to go in.
Yeah.
First time I was assigned in room number 9. Second time.
I'm gonna assign you to number 1. No, okay. Are you still there? Okay.
First time I was assigned in room number 9, then application crash, and then second time I was assigned in room number 8, then application crash, and now third time I'm coming.
Okay. Wow, that's weird. I see 2 accounts here. I'm not sure. Are you using 2 different devices?
No, just only one laptop.
Okay. I'm gonna try to assign you to breakout room number 1 and see what happens. Let's see. Hi, didn't work? Hi, Linda. Hi.
Sue.
Hi, Sue.
How are you?
Pardon?
Fine.
How are you?
We're okay. We're playing a little bit.
Do you need any help or you?
I just, because I'm starting from an existing model, how do you make the arrows go? Like, do they automatically?
Because this is the activity level, so the arrows are generated automatically.
Okay.
You can only put the arrows wherever you want at the course level.
Okay, so if I wanted in the assignments, I want to do like a 1-minute paper and I put it there. How does it know, or I can move it if I, oh, I see. You just move things around.
You can move left to right,
it
up
becomes
and down.
Color. Oh, this is fun.
And it moves as well the columns since you're moving. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So, I mean, it's pretty simple and it just, you click on something and you edit and it gives you the place to put everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's in that respect, it's pretty user friendly. We were just talking about the complication of having too many platforms for the students.
Yeah.
And especially where they're platforms that aren't all interlinked easily, that I mean, you could have everything in here, eh? Like you can actually link your
CourseFlow would be like the nest to your links. Yeah, the CourseFlow would call other links, other platforms.
Okay, so essentially you can have it so that you have the assignments instructions that they can link through here. Like you can have this as the hub for all your different parts of your course.
Yes.
Yes, that's kind of interesting.
Yes.
All right.
Really cool. And if you let me know if you have any other questions. I just came to say hi and see if you needed any help. And you can go back to the main session at any time. You don't need to quit the meeting. You just click on leave room at the bottom of the screen.
Is there another part of the session after we do the breakout?
Let me see what comes next. Yeah, so then we want to have like 30 minutes of discussion / questions, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, so that.
And how much time here?
I set up for like 30 minutes because I didn't know how long people need to play with the CourseFlow, right? Because if let's say if I said only like 5 minutes and people need more time, so you can go back to the main session whenever you want.
Okay.
I just
could you? I know it's kind of related, but not. How do you create a breakout room?
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. That's one step.
Yeah, only the host can create breakout rooms.
Okay.
You won't be able to see the option now, but I do see an option at the bottom of my screen. My screen. There is a button called Breakout Rooms, and then you create as many breakout rooms as you want. You can rename them. You can assign people automatically or manually. And you can visit the breakout rooms like what I'm doing right now.
You're doing now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to do that next year.
Yeah, because I don't think I have that feature. I ended up getting my own Zoom because when I started, back in March, we didn't have, not everyone had access through Vanier, so I paid for my own private account. And I don't think it's a feature I have at the $20 a month level.
Oh, that I don't know because my account comes from Dawson's account, so they granted.
Vanier said they were going to get a license for Zoom for the fall for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's why I can't do it yet. Okay. Thank you.
I'll leave the room now. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry to disturb you again. This is 4th time after Zoom application crash. I just placed multiple rooms, 9, 8, 1, and now it is 4th time to.
And you were never able to stay in one of the rooms?
No, I mean just after assigning to the room, the application crashed on my side, and I'm relaunching again and trying to join. And
I don't know why the page is crashing. I mean, it didn't happen to anyone else, I guess, because everybody's working I don't know if it's a problem on your end.
I mean, I never have this situation with Microsoft Meetings. I use in the winter semester. Never scratched that application single time. Zoom is today for me. It is first time I'm using today. I installed today, and then I attended the first part of the meeting. It was good, but when we break up, then in different rooms, then it is happening me within a first 30 seconds. Very first time I was placed in room number 9, then second time room number 8, third time room number 1, and now this is the fourth time.
That never happened to us before. I can check with Jeremy. Perhaps Jeremy, he knows about computers and he's the Saltist developer, so perhaps he knows. I'm gonna go and see him in one of the rooms. Let's see where he's in room number 5. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
So
I don't know. I believe that at Vanier, when we say blended, we're referring to that, like the way that Performa defines blended, which is face-to-face and online. I think, I don't know. I don't
my
want to mislead you though.
is that Vanier is fighting now, saying that even though the ministry is saying they want us in the classroom some of the time, Vanier is now disagreeing with them, saying there is no way that it will be safe for students and teachers even to do it 30%. They can't. So when they're talking, I think again, who knows, but it's going to be blended, synchronous, asynchronous, but I don't.
It could be. It could
in
be.
our departmental discussions, we decided to interpret it in the way that maybe 30% of the students have to be at school, but not 30% of each class. So let's say have nursing, they might need more hands-on labs, so they would stay more time at school, while maybe in science you don't need that many labs because we can do other online simulations. So it was okay to just do online.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to, hi, I'm Sue. I just wanted to see if you need any help.
Oh my God, we have no idea what we're doing.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. We do need a moderator.
Okay, so you have a template here, right?
Yes.
We just opened up the mixed template for fun.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure what to do.
Well, that's pretty much for you to play with the tool. I mean, and see how it works. If you want to incorporate any kind of content into the nodes, move nodes around, the arrows and everything, and pretty much imagine how you would put your own course in CourseFlow, and at the course level and also at the activity level. So it's pretty much for you to get to know the tool.
So Ellie, if you say incorporate a lecture or whatever, you just embed, say, a PowerPoint or some notes, like literally drag the document into?
Not the file itself, so not the PowerPoint, because CourseFlow doesn't have that capacity yet. But if your PowerPoint is, for example, a Google Slides, or if you can create a link, you can upload your PowerPoint to any kind of cloud system, OneDrive, or Google Drive, and then you can add the link into the notes.
The reason I'm asking about this is because it would be beautiful if the way I work is everything's there and you just lay out the show, meaning that I don't have to, because if, for whatever reason, something gets stuck, the video you want to show, the link doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, I like to come in and it's all there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what, the things that CourseFlow doesn't, we don't have a place to store all those files. So what Phoebe's been doing, if you recall her saying, that's what she's doing. She's creating links on Google Drive, or actually I think it's on OneDrive. So, and then she links her content to, she links her cloud platform to the files themselves. So it's pretty much like if you have a Google Drive account, you can do that. That's what we can do for now. And you can also, of course, link to Moodle. You can link to My Daylight, to FETS. I don't know if you know FETS.
How do you spell that? FETS?
PHETS, PHETS. It's pretty much a bank of simulations, science STEM simulations. Yeah.
And is it also possible to export it as a PDF?
Yes, you can create a PDF. You go under, well, it's not my screen, so, but you can go under File or.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, okay. I'm just playing
around. You can just say it. I'll do it on my screen. So
I'll stop sharing. Somebody else wants to share, maybe.
So export currently workflow?
No, wait, let me open it. Can you share screen if you don't mind, or?
Please, could you?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Sorry. Share screen. Yeah.
So go under, I think it's under View. Yeah, there you go. Printer friendly version. This is just a warning because sometimes people have to adjust their paper size. There you go. And now you click Control P as if you were printing. Yeah.
Oh, and then I can save the PDF. Okay.
Yes, there you go.
And I guess if I have the links would remain clickable, so it would be an easy way of sharing with the students. I could share the PDFs and they could click.
I never tried that actually to see if the links are still clickable. We can try that. Just cancel this one. So just one tip. Before generating the PDF, if you want students to see the content of the notes, go to View again, expand all, expand the first one. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I see.
And now you generate a PDF because the way the course flow is, or the workflow is, that's the way the PDF is gonna be generated. So if all nodes are collapsed, the PDF is gonna be collapsed as well.
I see.
Now we can see if the.
But then there's this thing like the page is large.
Close the menu. Yeah. Oh. If you try to if you go to printer friendly version now, it's.
Oh yeah, I didn't do that, I guess.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
now we can see. Well, try to save that PDF and see if the links are still clickable.
I don't think there are any links in the document yet.
I
think we would need to copy and paste a link in.
Oh, I think it was in another room. I saw people with links. I thought that one had links too.
Can we just grab a link, some random YouTube or something, and throw it in?
Sure. Any kind of link. You just go to the right side menu, and you insert the link. Any kind of link works.
I can share my screen again because I started building one of these things a few minutes ago.
Did you put a link in there?
Yeah, I put a link in.
Great.
Let's try. Okay, like I just put a link from
Perfect.
our department website.
Yep.
So now I'm going to go to View Printer Friendly Version.
There you go.
Okay. I'm sorry, what do I do next?
Control P, or I don't know if you're using a Mac or what.
P.
So
yeah, okay, Control P.
And save it, and let's see if... just wait, you see the warning that you clicked OK before? It's for you. It's a reminder for you to change the layout. So instead of portrait, it should be A4.
A4.
Well, there's
landscape.
Perhaps more settings. Try more settings. It's supposed to be A4. There you go, A4, and layout. It's not landscape. It's yeah, portrait. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna save it. I'll put it on my desktop, which is a mess right now. Okay.
We won't judge you.
Please
join the club.
All right. There. Sorry, a million things are open. Whoops. Okay.
We show our houses. We show
I know. There's no privacy anymore. Now,
right.
where was that? That was called printer friendly version.
Yeah.
Looks clickable.
Yay!
Cool.
That's good.
Yay. Okay, cool. Very
Nice.
Learned something today. Nice.
Okay, but I'm just seeing your screen, like the page still.
Well, it's because I was in the PDF, which is here. So I'm in Adobe Acrobat Pro right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I
And
think you're opening with the browser.
Oh, did
Yeah.
I? You know what? It's because
Yeah.
my computer doesn't have, so I need to open
Yeah.
manually.
But I mean, it's okay because that's
But yeah.
probably how the students would open it anyways.
Right.
So you can
So-
click from the PDF. Is that right, Julia?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It pops up a new window.
Okay.
And now I'm on the side page.
Great.
And I guess the other alternative for sharing is that we would save as read only, and we could post the links to the students so the students would access directly on Salties, right?
I still don't know how if Jeremy is working on that yet, but I know that. Do you use Moodle at Vanya?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm not familiar.
I mean, there is Moodle at Vanya. Some people use it, but not everyone.
Because
Yeah.
I know that once you incorporate CourseFlow in Moodle, it's not editable. No one can change it. Of course, I mean, except you. So that's view only. But the way the platform is right now, actually, it's not a live document. It's not like Google Drive or Google Docs that people can edit as much as they want. It's like a Word document. Imagine giving your students a Word document. You will always have the main file. The original file will always be with you, and students can have theirs. They can change as much as they want. It doesn't matter because you always have the original.
But if it's if you send it to them in PDF as a PDF file, read only, they can't click on the link, correct?
If it's a hot link, yes, as we just saw. I just learned that actually the links remain clickable. I didn't know that. So just make sure if you don't want them clicking on anything, just don't.
No, because if it's a video link that they have to consult before, let's say, a certain lecture, then they have to be able to access it. And if I send it to them as read only, I wonder if, not a user-friendly version, I wonder if they can click it to see the video without being able to change anything.
I'm sorry, ladies. I have to go because we only have 3 minutes left, and I have to go to another room. But you write down all your questions. We're gonna have like 20-30 minutes to answer all of your questions. Okay.
Thank you.
And you can go back to the main session whenever you want. You just leave room. Click at the bottom of your screen. There's a blue button. Leave room. Whenever you want to go to the main session.
Thank you.
See you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly, as I said, if you want to have more, more one-on-one, we can arrange to have that just because there's nothing much we can do if you keep on being logged out or it was broken out.
Yeah, application automatically.
Go ahead, sorry.
Zoom application automatically crashing on my laptop.
Yeah.
I have like Microsoft Windows 10 operating system on my laptop, and with the Microsoft meeting during winter semester, this situation never happened with me.
Yeah. So as I said, we only have a few minutes left for the breakout rooms anyway. So let's get your information, and we'd be happy to give you a private tutorial so that you can check it out. Were everybody else okay? Estelle, Sadia, Francine, Judy, everything went well?
You were muted, by the way.
Yes. Everything okay?
It was fine. Yeah. Thank you.
So less than a minute. So I suppose people are coming back to the main session.
Yeah. So the people who are around as we have people coming back. So Judy, how was it? You're muted.
we didn't get very far, but we answered questions with each other, and we learned about PDFs. What did we learn about PDFs?
That they're clickable.
Clickable, right.
Okay.
Liz,
So,
can I, before we dive back in, can I request, based on discussions with my group, if you can highlight the location of our, extra information, videos, etc.
Yes.
That's been requested.
Okay, perfect. I will do that.
And to Liz and Rebecca, we can repeat this at the end, but in case I forget, I have no problem taking questions from anyone during the summer. So if some teachers are actually working or exploring CourseFlow during the summer, no one should feel bad about emailing me and asking questions. I will do my best to give them a quick answer. And if I can't answer it, then I will tag my colleagues from Salties and try to find answers.
Yep, and I will be available for questions as well.
Okay.
Me too. It's not like we're going anywhere.
So what we know per the request, here is here's the link to any information that you might need for CourseFlow, in addition to the offers of help that were just given. We'd like to do a quick survey. I think everybody sees the survey pop up, a quick poll. Does everybody see that, or just let me know? Yes, everyone's seeing it?
Yeah.
If you can answer the quick poll, just so that we have a sense of where people are at, how easy it is for you to understand the CourseFlow, and that way we have a sense of, do you need more help right away or not? What we'd also like to be able to offer is, in addition to the information that I just shared, we will have this up as well. We will be giving this to Rebecca so that you can find any of the information you need. Both the specific tutorial information with some videos, as well as some text. You have the information to find us. We'll give you our email addresses. In addition to any of those things, what I'd like to know now, based upon the poll, maybe Sue can share what the poll is showing us, if everyone. Okay, so most of you are feeling a little bit like you've got a sense of what CourseFlow can do. That's fantastic. The ones who are not confident, if you are interested in using this and you are feeling very uncomfortable, please let Rebecca know, and we'd be happy to provide some more information, or Reese maybe might do a secondary webinar. I know some of you had some difficulties in the breakout room, but just out of, we didn't have this on the poll, but just by some showing your reaction, how many people never went into a breakout room before? Okay, use your reaction button. The reaction button is at the bottom. Okay, so if you never went into a breakout room before, was it a good experience? Okay, so mostly good. There are a few, was there one down? Okay, so one of the things that we learned was it's so important to put yourself in the student's position. And the first time you go into a breakout room, it's a little daunting. And one of the things that we are trying to figure out with things like CourseFlow is there may be times where we don't recognize how scary some of these new formats are for students. And we can put that information into a CourseFlow to say, you know, when you go into the breakout room, this is what you can expect. So that little extra box, you can add things like that. So I think, so Corey Legasic is one of our colleagues who does a lot of work with groups. And one of the things that he pointed out that I didn't understand was there's also a bit of a culture that you're creating. So maybe the CourseFlow can help you create that culture if you want to put little anecdotes or something into those boxes so that students understand what's going to happen.
So Liz, during our breakout room, Frédéric, I don't know where she went. I can't see her on my screen. She tried to put a link to her Leia from the CourseFlow. So and it worked somewhat. I don't know. Where are you, Frédéric? You want to say a few words? Oh, here. Yeah.
Yes. Hello. So I created a fake week 1 with a reading assignment, and I put in a link towards the page on Leia that is called Distributed Documents, where I do have Word documents there. And when I saved the file, went back to Flow, opened the course, week 1, I clicked on the link and it directed me to Leia, the distributed documents page.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. This is sort of one of the things, the lessons that we're learning as well, is that the more questions and the more chances you want to take, the better off, you know, we all become, because you know, your idea is one more thing that we can now add to what we can do with it. So try it out. And Jeremy is always Jeremy is amazingly responsive to you know, to if there's a bug, if there's an idea, if there is something new that can be added that's useful to everyone. He's incredibly responsive. I don't think anybody can imagine having a better service.
Thanks. And my course for the summer got scooped, so I'm available full time.
So if there are, it's 3 o'clock and we don't want to keep anyone beyond the time. If you have questions, you know, if there are 1 or 2 questions that people have, or suggestions, if there's anybody who has an idea or a way to use this, you know, just jump in. And if you don't have, you can't think of a question right now, I'm sure Rebecca will be happy to take your questions and transmit them to us. And I will say, I'm not shutting down the conversation, but I'm just going to say, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you very much. And I'll let the others do the same.
So bye, everybody. It was a pleasure to hang out with you. And good luck to all. Stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, Selma.
Bye.
So how do we...
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Hi, Jeremy. Please hold for one moment.
Yeah.
Please. In today's webinar, when we were in the common meeting room, I was okay. But after when you break down the rooms, I was application on my side. Obviously, it is not the workflow, it is the Zoom who kicked me out 4 times. And I was not able to exploit any advantage of the breakdown room. I was placed 3 times different rooms, and 4th time when I quick out, and then I waited outside about 10 minutes, and I was not placed to any meeting.
Okay, I'm actually not the meeting host.
Okay, but I think you
am
were demonstrating your expertise, and everybody is referring to you. That's why I prefer to talk to you.
I have no idea how Zoom works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am the host actually, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I mean, because it only happened with you. I have no idea.
And this is Zoom. This is Zoom. It is not the workflow, because Zoom kicked me out from meeting.
Yeah.
And today, for me, Zoom was the first day to use. During winter semester, I always use Microsoft Meeting, and this situation never happened to me.
We often have in every single workshop that we have on Teams side, somebody has difficulty. They're only there as a guest and they don't have access to the chat. We think that there is, some gremlin in these systems that just randomly chooses people. And today it was your day to be chosen.
Yeah,
Be part.
It is 4 times. Today was a lucky day for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, Rebecca, I think. Sorry, Phoebe, go ahead.
No, I was just going to see if anyone had any last questions before we say goodbye.
Yeah, or if Rebecca has anything else to say, or.
I guess I just have a little question here. Has this been around for a while, or is this very new?
This has been around. So we started developing it at a very basic level last January. It's been around in kind of a semi-usable state for under a year.
Okay, so it is very recent.
Yeah.
Okay, because I started thinking, oh, have I missed out for how many years?
No.
You're cutting edge, actually.
I wanted to thank everyone and just say I talked to a few English teachers, and we're doing summer sessions where there's going to be like a design component for those who want to use that time to play around with these new platforms, and CFlow being one of them. So that's an exciting opportunity to try to learn some things before the fall starts. So I'll probably be in touch with you, Jeremy. And
yeah, by all means.
FYI, and because I'm going to be like clear on a lot of things, I'm still experimenting myself, but it's exciting. So thank you.
I'm a little concerned at the thought that 58 instructors are now going to be messaging me about, but we're gonna find all the bugs that are left for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think as in terms of resource people, like you can put them, if they're Vanier people, Reese, myself, there's plenty of people, the Psy people, we can all kind of work together with that. And because you might be a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's good, kind of, yeah. Thank you guys for presenting, and have a great day. It was really good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy, for your patience to hear me.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Jeremy.
Thanks to all others presenters.
Thanks,
Jeremy, I had something come up that was interesting.
Sure.
2 things. One was, do you think at some point you'd be able to upload our own icons to make the pictures on the top, just on the notes?
At some point, potentially.
It's a very small thing.
But so right now, no, because it's all, because the files are all stored locally. There's no like back and forth with the server or anything.
Yeah.
Over the next year, we're hoping to add some actual server backend to this, or I'm hoping to, budget allowing. So that would be something that would require that.
And the other thing is a much bigger idea. Someone said it would be really interesting if enough teachers were using it that students could somehow combine their course flows.
Yeah.
Into like their own flow. This is my flow.
Right.
So that was cool. Just a big picture. Don't do it.
Yeah. And in theory would be doable. In fact, in theory, you could have if each teacher within a program created this, or created the course flow for their course, you could combine them all using the program level, and have, you know, go down by 2 different levels instead of just to the activity level.
I think that was something that Nathaniel had spoken about, right? That if they had these multiple flows,
yeah,
and even upload it to their daily calendar or onto their phones, and they would know exactly what to do, where to go, what to download. Yeah.
The unfortunately, the level of cooperation you would need from the department, you'd need the department to like either mandate it or something. There's no way you're going to get everyone on board with anything,
No.
let alone having to plan out their entire course. So it seems a little far-fetched, but it would be very cool.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Nick Park mentioned something, and then you said that's on my to-do list for next year. That would be such that, let's say I, as a teacher, I develop a course flow, I could somehow create a link, and then if I share the link, students would have easy access to it, and then they would be able to click on all of my nodes and download. Or
So based on what I've been talking about with Liz, this is again very much budget allowing. A potential big project for next year would be adding in a server backend, which would allow us to do all that kind of stuff. Basically, to create a framework for actually having this live somewhere other than just on your computer and in your documents, and to be able to share files much more easily, do things like have multiple teachers edit the same file without having to send it back and forth between the two, things like that. But again, that's something that is a little more in the future.
And that's very different from.
Okay.
That's
Bye,
very.
Sue.
Hi.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Sue.
I sent you a message,
and
but I
bye,
gotta
Phoebe.
run.
And
See you
bye,
guys.
Phoebe.
Take care.
Right.
Yeah.